You have great chemistry, attraction, you're having great dates for a very long time, but you still can be completely wrong for each other long term, aka marriage. When people start talking about marriage, they can pick out their flowers together, they can discuss their philosophy, they'll argue over the centerpieces, the napkin colors, the seating chart, but they never really ask the actual questions that will determine if the relationship is going to last. And then they're shocked when they wind up in court because marriage doesn't fail at the wedding. It fails in the conversations that you never had. Hello, my single lovelies. It's Denise with Dating Food Talks. And today we're going to talk about dating to marriage material. And I'm going to point out what to do and what not to do. And of course, I'm going to talk about what is tasty and what is not tasty while you are in this courtship. And if you like what I have to say, give me a like. If you think somebody needs to hear this, share it over. And of course, follow me on YouTube. Okay, let's jump into this. You ready? So here is the real problem, because there is an issue here. People date for chemistry. They date for attraction. They date for potential. But they don't date for alignment. And alignment is what will determine if the relationship will survive real life. Because at some point, life is going to test you. It's going to test both of you. You will have stresses in life. You will have money problems in life. You will have loss. You will have pressure. And if you do not know how that other person thinks, okay, you won't know if they're really going to show up when it comes to those problems. So you need to ask the right questions. So here is what to do. You need to start having real conversations early. All right? Not just the surface level, what's your favorite restaurant type of questions. I'm talking about the questions that will reveal one's mindset, their character, their values, because those are the things that are going to build a marriage, or it will break a marriage. So, what not to do, okay, is just really fall in love with someone because of their lifestyle and ignore their mindset. Do not assume, we'll just figure it out later. And if you avoid these serious conversations, okay, you're going to ruin a vibe, you're going to ruin your marriage. Because avoiding hard conversations now are going to create consequences for you later. So, point one, the first thing is you need to start asking things. I would ask, how did you handle the hardest year of your life? This question will tell you everything. And you really need to listen carefully. Do they take accountability or do they blame someone else? Because someone who becomes the victim, oh my goodness, eventually you are going to become the villain. But someone who reflects and learns and takes ownership, all right? Now that is someone you can grow with. Point two, the financial blueprint. This is very important, and you need to understand one's mindset to finance. I'm not talking about how much money that they make. I'm talking about how do they think about money? Do they believe, this is mine and this is yours? Or do they believe this is ours? Because money is not just numbers. It is value. It is trust. It is partnership. Remember that. And if you are not aligned here, it will show up later, and it will show up in a very, very real way. Okay. Point three, the legacy talk. This is important, and you need to ask this, okay? What do you want to be remembered for? Now, again, you're going to listen closely. If your potential loved one only answers, talks about money, status, success, that's definitely telling you something. Because long-term relationships require depth, emotional depth, spiritual depth, and purpose. You're not just building a life with someone. Remember that. You are building meaning. It's very important. And if they cannot think beyond the surface level of success, they're not going to be equipped to have a deeper partnership. So let's talk about what's tasty versus not tasty. Someone who takes accountability, tasty. Someone who reflects and learns from their past. Someone who sees money as a partnership. And someone who has purpose beyond just the status. Now, what is not tasty is someone who blames everyone else for their problems. Ugh. Someone who avoids serious conversations, and someone who is pretty rigid when it comes to this is mine and this is yours. Someone who lacks depth with a long-term vision. Because marriage isn't sustained by attraction. It's sustained by alignment. Because love without shared values, it's not going to last. It is not going to last. So before you say yes, I do, you need to make sure that you really understand how the other person thinks. So I would like to know in the comments, what you're thinking about this topic. And, one question, do you wish that you asked something sooner in your relationship? I'm Denise. Dating Through Talks always tells you the truth. Until next time.